Upgradable guns and grenades are your best options for pure damage, but your tools add a lot of utility to a fight, allowing you to stun, knock back, or escape the hiss when things get intense, as they often do. Each kit comes with its own altered augment, an extremely dangerous paranatural item that charges up over time, allowing you to deploy massive amounts of combat power during critical moments. Just keep in mind that augments are extremely volatile and can down you and your friends if used haphazardly. When playing a job with corruption turned on, you'll soon discover that not all altered items are under Firebreak's control. Firebreak will encounter various corrupted items during these jobs, which significantly modify the experience while active. Anything from causing corpses to explode, to lowering the gravity, to making sure that you don't cross the street when you're not supposed to. Corrupted items aren't affected by bullets or explosions, but you can chase them away if you find a black rock neutralizer. When the final objective is completed, you'll trigger Evacuation. A large number of hiss will descend onto the job site, and you and your crew will need to make it back to the service elevator in one piece. Getting out alive is no easy task, and sometimes you'll face difficult decisions, like when to rescue crewmates in trouble and when to cut your losses. Back at Firebreak HQ, you'll have the chance to put whatever you collected to good use, unlocking or upgrading equipment and perks, or picking up new cosmetics to customize your Firebreaker. These jobs function like game modes that you can customize in 3 ways. Clearance, which affects the length of the session, corruption, which affects the session's modifications and randomization, and threat, which affects the combat intensity. Of course, taking on longer and more challenging jobs will mean more opportunities for greater rewards. Next, it's time to choose one of 3 crisis kits for your Firebreaker to take into the field. The Splash Kit, which is good for extinguishing fires and removing harmful conditions from your friends. The Jump Kit, which focuses on mobility and charging electrical devices. And the Fix Kit, which excels at knocking back enemies and repairing machinery. Each of these kits is a saved loadout featuring a defined set of specialized gear and whatever gun, grenade, and set of perks you think suits its playstyle best. Once you've selected your kit, you and your crew will arrive by service elevator to the job site, where you will be tasked with clearing a number of crisis zones depending on the clearance you selected. To clear zones, you'll work on its unique objectives and use your tool to efficiently repair broken machines like the shower, which is key to healing the team and removing harmful conditions. Or to charge batteries, like the one that lights up the ammo station, letting your team resupply faster. Or to douse the flames that buff your enemies and sometimes light your friends on fire. Now, if you don't have the right tool, you can still do the job, but it will be slower and definitely more dangerous. Once you've completed all of the zone's objectives, you'll be able to open a containment door and proceed deeper into the crisis. As you put down the crisis, more and more hiss will be attracted to the area, sometimes including dangerous enemies that trigger job site lockdowns until exterminated. During combat, it is especially important for you and your friends to group up, as your resonance shields will become amplified while you're sticking together. And if any of you have upgraded perks equipped, you'll be able to share their effects using that same.
If you don't cut back their numbers, this whole place will be yellow by morning. This crisis ain't over. Now get through the containment door to the next zone. Safe room dead ahead. Might contain something useful, but it'll probably attract a lot of... Oh, you already opened it. Never mind. You sure kicked the nest. There's hiss all over you.
Stand back! Piggy's coming out!
Oh, wait, you gotta shoot him off me!
Let's go with, you need us.
This place is hotter than hell. Get out there and get that heat under control.
Oh, God, it burns!
Oh, that's better.
It gets hairy out there. Watch your back.
Sticky! Pink! I'm pink!
Back to work, buddy.
Thanks.
There's too many to take them all down. Focus on saving your skin.
In with the hiss. I don't care about your day job. If you can hold a gun and use a tool, Firebreak needs you. I'll be frank with you, this ain't an easy shift, but at least you won't be alone. Your fellow Firebreakers will have your back. Fighting together, fixing together, and hell, even showering together. If you can stand your ground and stick together, it'll be more than enough to survive.
Corrupted item loose on site.
On my way.
Each location has been completely reimagined from the ground up, shifted into something that works well for our chaotic 3-player gameplay. We knew from the very beginning that we wanted to make Firebreak a first-person experience. It just felt so unique and original to run around the oldest house in first-person view.
Firebreak takes place some years after the events of that game, but was designed as an entirely standalone experience. So even if you haven't played Control, if you like cooperative shooters, you're gonna love this game. So in this game, you play as a volunteer member of a new unit called Firebreak, and that name, Firebreak, actually comes from real-life firebreaks. It's a physical idea of something that stands between the danger and the thing that needs protecting. And the reason why you're called Firebreak is because that's your job, to stand between the crisis and the thing that needs protecting, which in this case is the Bureau itself. So before you and your friends drop into a mission, it's important to pick the right gear. And you do that through loadouts that we call crisis kits. But of course, your choices and your friends' choices need to make sense together. Or not. It's up to you.
So obviously when we're making like a co-op multiplayer experience, it's very important to think about the second-to-second gameplay, and once you really embrace that way of working, you start seeing a lot of genuine feelings kind of arise, and you find yourself thinking, you know, how excited am I playing this? Am I having fun?
What we're really excited about is something that we call Paranatural augments. What these are is like a special kind of attachment for your tools that sort of look like mundane items. And this is like an experimental program from the FBC. So when you fire them out,
The FBC has been locked down for years at this point, and everything you could imagine going wrong in a place like the oldest house has now gone wrong, and those things have turned into jobs for Firebreak. Each job is set in a different location within the oldest house and features unique objectives and mechanics. Paper Chase is set in the executive sector, and there's only one objective: destroy sticky notes. You'll get to pick from 3 saved loadouts called crisis kits, each one centered around a unique tool and a general playstyle. Once you know what type of job you want to take on, you'll choose the threat level and the clearance level. Threat level deals with the combat intensity. Clearance level is all about the complexity and the length of the crisis that you're going down to face. Now, both of these levels deal with a few other cool things, but we'll talk more about those in the future.
Coming from Control to FBC Firebreak, there are some key aspects of the franchise that we really want to keep holding on to. We want to keep the game as weird as possible. And even though the team at Firebreak is a bit smaller, I think we've been able to pull the weirdness aspect really well. We have these two questions that we usually ask ourselves. Is the idea something that could only happen in the oldest house and that only Remedy as a developer would do? If the answer is yes to both of those questions, then it usually means we are on the right track. As a result of that creative process, we end up having quite a lot of wacky stuff in the game. This job where you need to find these mannequin ski instructors and load them on to a Paranatural ski lift to appease it.
I've been a designer of sort at Remedy for a quarter of a century now, and I personally play multiplayer games much more myself, so it's really nice to finally be actually designing a multiplayer game. It's not the kind of carefully curated single-player experience that Remedy is usually known for. It's more of a systemic game where you and your friends discover how everything works.
My absolute favorite example, we have the showers. And these are actually our main mechanic of healing in the game. But if you're just going in there, the water is going to be cold, and the cold water is going to slow you down for a bit. But what you can do is that you can fix the heaters attached to the showers, and then that whole thing is going to make the whole shower experience more pleasant. Okay.
When we talk about being different, we applied that same thinking to our crisis kits. So first we've got the crank-operated fluidic ejector, which is used to extinguish fires, slow down enemies, or even clean the harmful conditions off of your crewmates. Then there's the electrokinetic charge impactor, which is sort of like a defibrillator had a baby with a pogo stick. And the big wrench, which is, you know, a big wrench.
So yeah, it's a spin-off of Control, but you're not really a levitating superhuman like Jesse. You get your power more from gadgets and using paranormal objects, and then of course you get power from the fact that there's 3 of you. Well, actually, still only 1 of you, but you have 2 friends. Or I hope you have 2 friends, or get 2 friends at least. The combat is not just about the gun, the tools also really matter. So for example, your friend can be using a water cannon to cool off the hot heads of the hiss, and then you can be just finalizing the deal.
FBC FIREBREAK is an upcoming 3-player cooperative first-person shooter developed and published by Remedy Entertainment, marking the studio's first self-published and fully multiplayer-focused title. Scheduled for release on June 17, 2025, the game will be available on PC via Steam and Epic Games Store, Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 5, with Day 1 access on PC Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and PlayStation Plus Extra Premium tiers. Set in the surreal, shifting world of Control, FBC FIREBREAK unfolds during a catastrophic metaphysical incursion into the oldest house, the mysterious, reality-bending skyscraper housing the Federal Bureau of Control, FBC. Players step into the boots of an elite FIREBREAK unit, a rapid response task force, specially trained to combat anomalous threats emerging from deep within the Bureau's quarantined sectors. Each member of the team is equipped with Bureau standard armaments, but the real edge comes from wielding paranatural augments, abilities derived from object of power exposure, tailored through a modular loadout system. Gameplay centers around mission-based jobs, each procedurally modified using sliders for threat, clearance, and corruption levels, allowing players to customize intensity and complexity. Players can select from a growing arsenal of crisis kits, which determine their role in the field, e.g. support, assault, disruption, combining supernatural gear with traditional firearms and Bureau tech. Jobs are designed to be tight 15 to 30-minute sessions, emphasizing replayability, build experimentation, and team synergy, with cross-platform play fully enabled across all systems. The world of FIREBREAK retains Remedy's signature brand of uncanny surrealism. Encounters include sentient office supplies, weaponized psychological phenomena, and inexplicable architecture that folds and reconfigures mid-mission. Environmental storytelling reveals glimpses of Bureau history and cryptic side lore, with each job unlocking new field reports, audio logs, and semi-randomized anomalies that hint at a larger unseen crisis escalating beyond the player's view. Now you can enjoy the screenshots without any interruption. Enjoy!